You want honest? You're already here. 5 years ago, KBLA Talk 1580 made a choice to be the progressive alternative Los Angeles deserved and never apologized for it. We haven't. Not once. 5 years, same mission, zero apologies. KBLA Talk 1580, live on 1580 AM and streaming everywhere.
Happy anniversary!
Keep on.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent, joining you live in afternoon drive time, where I'm in touch and so you be in touch. Follow me on all the socials at Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ, and go ahead and follow me. I'll be sure to serve up hopefully something to your liking. Speaking of something to your liking, I think you're gonna like hanging out with us at the KBLA 5th anniversary celebration. That's right, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating with you. Join all your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts this Friday, June 19th, for our anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration at the Beehive from 4 to 7 p.m. Food, drink, a DJ, dancing, games, and more. Plus LA Mayor Karen Bass, the one and only Lunel to tickle our funny bone. Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Kenny Lattimore, and a few other surprises. The Beehive, it's the place to be this Juneteenth. And our community celebration is free. Pass it on. But remember, you got to register at KBLA1580.com. We're encouraging folks to ride share. But however you arrive, just get there. All right. We're looking forward to celebrating our 5th anniversary with you this Friday. It wouldn't have been possible without your support, without our growing community of leaders, learners, and listeners. We love you. We appreciate you. There's nothing you can do about it, but show up, pull up to the Beehive, but register first again at KBLA1580.com. All right. Now, look, you made it to hour 2. You are officially a committed leader, learner, and listener. I see you. And I also want to give a quick shout out to the folks that are pretty active in a More Perfect group chat. If you are streaming us on YouTube, go ahead and jump in. Hat tip to Yogi Fish 01, who was following our conversation with Alan Orr in our first hour around issues related to immigration pretty closely. We appreciate your support. And to all the folks that are listening to us on X, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, you are invited to hop over to YouTube and get in a More Perfect group chat. All right. Let's hit the world of news, because today has been generous with the news stories. It's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines, at least this hour. We start with Britain banning under 16-year-olds from social media. Did you all hear this? The United Kingdom, they dropped a significant policy hammer today. Prime Minister Starmer announced that Britain is going to ban children under 16 from using major social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, and X. The ban is expected to take effect early next year. YouTube Kids and messaging apps like WhatsApp and Signal are excluded. Enforcement targets the companies, not the kids. Starmer said, and I love this line, quote, social media is making children unhappy. Every parent can see it with their own eyes. That's interesting coming from the prime minister. Now, he's a parent of 2 teenagers himself, and he addressed the skeptics directly, saying teenagers drink before they should, but we do not say, in which case, let us abandon any attempt to stop them buying alcohol. Listen, I don't have a simple take on this. On one hand, the data on adolescent mental health and social media is not good. On the other hand, enforcement of this kind of a ban is genuinely complicated, and there are real concerns about who decides what content is harmful. But what I'll say is this: Britain just made a political bet that protecting children is worth the fight with big tech. And given that Fox just paid $22 billion for Roku, which we're about to talk about, big tech is not going anywhere on its own. So note that Australia already passed this ban. Canada, Brazil, Indonesia are moving in this direction. The question for us here in the United States, where are we in this conversation? If you have any hints, please hop in a More Perfect group chat and let us know. Speaking of tech, Elon Musk has been accused of stoking racist violence in Belfast. I should say, and speaking of social media and accountability, British politicians are now formally accusing Elon Musk of stoking racist violence in Belfast, Northern Ireland. According to Truthout, Musk has been amplifying posts connected to far-right anti-immigration unrest that's led to violence in the city. This is not the first time. After the Southport attacks last year, Musk used X to amplify misinformation that contributed to riots across England. And every time this happens, there are calls for accountability. And every time we get nothing. Think about it. If you or I walked into a radio station and incited a mob with disinformation, there would be consequences. But if you own the platform, apparently you get to keep going. I just want that double standard named and on the record. I mentioned Fox buying Roku for $22 billion. Now, look, this is the media business story of the year, perhaps, maybe the decade. Because Fox Corporation, they announced this morning they were acquiring Roku. Yes, that little remote control box on the top of your TV for $22 billion. And the deal, it pairs Fox Sports, news, and entertainment content, including Tubi, with Roku's streaming platform, which reaches over 100 million households. Lachlan Murdoch called it a defining moment. And here's why this matters for our community. Roku is currently in more than half of all U.S. broadband households. It's the device that millions of us use to access Netflix, YouTube, whatever streaming service we're into. And now it belongs to the Murdoch family, as in the same family that owns Fox News. Now, they say Roku will remain an open, partner-friendly platform, and it may well stay that way, especially with regulators watching. But the question we should be asking, who owns the pipes? You see, Tubi is already one of the most watched free streaming services in Black households. Now, Tubi and Roku are under the same Murdoch roof. Now, I'm not saying hide your remote, but I am saying pay attention to who controls the infrastructure of your media diet. When we come forward, we're switching gears. I'll be joined with author Rasheed Newson. He's the author of There's Only One Sin in Hollywood. I am really excited about this conversation. And I'm even more excited that the conversation is not going to end here because we are going to continue the conversation live in person at the MLK Library in Washington, D.C. next Tuesday, June 23rd. And so if you're looking for a double dose of this conversation, pull up to the DC Public Library, the MLK Library, next Tuesday at 7 p.m., where we are going to continue the conversation about this incredible work. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward with Rasheed Newson.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail, because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Let's celebrate. Y'all did it! Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA! Yeah, man!
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests as we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and I am genuinely excited for our next guest. He is a national best-selling author, a television writer, and a showrunner who co-developed Bel Air, worked on The Chi, Narcos, Animal Kingdom. The man has range for days, and now he's got a new novel out. It's called There's Only One Sin in Hollywood. It just dropped on June 2nd, and he currently lives right here in Los Angeles, in Pasadena, in fact, and he's also a 2025-2026 American Library in Paris visiting fellow, because of course he is. Welcome to a War Perfect Union, Rasheed Newson.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for this marvelous work. Congratulations on the book. I have to ask first, there's only one sin in Hollywood. The title itself is a statement. What's the one sin?
The sin is typically disobedience, messing with the money. That'll always get you in trouble. We can make accommodations.
The money.
I mean, we can make accommodations for a lot of vices. We can make accommodations for a lot of alternative lifestyle. When you start endangering the money, that's the problem. Marilyn Monroe wasn't in real trouble until she stopped showing up to set.
And then when she stopped showing up to set,
we don't need you anymore.
Said, wait a minute.
We don't need you anymore. And that's another thing about Hollywood is they don't normally have to like push you into danger. They just have to let go. All the guardrails they build around you, they can take those away and they leave you to your own devices.
Well, I mean, you know, we know something about that, particularly in this moment, in this current media environment. Listen, you are a pretty accomplished artist, and just as I outlined at the top of our conversation, you've got a whole lot of range. I mean, a lot of folks aren't used to seeing a unicorn like yourself, who is swerving through so many different lanes. Talk to us about how you gain the confidence to be able to translate your art, you know, in film, in television, and on the page. Where'd that confidence come from?
Well, I mean, I like a lot of people sort of deal with imposter syndrome. I don't, because if I wasn't this good, they wouldn't let me have the jobs. You don't get to be an imposter and do the work at the sort of the highest level. So those of us who are doing it, you've probably proven long before they hired you that you had those chops, that you had that talent. When I think of my career, as much as I love the artistry and the way I tell stories, I know that I'm primarily seen along with my writing partner in television as someone who can step in and fix problems. I've mostly been hired, not because they found my writing so beautiful, but because they said this show's in trouble and they thought that I and TJ could help save the ship.
Well, let's get into this book. Let's dig into this book a little bit. Again, I want to encourage our leaders, learners, and listeners to go and pick it up and experience it for yourself. It's called There's Only One Sin in Hollywood. There's a character in this book named Javier C. Barlow. Give us the setup. Who is Javier? And, you know, bring us into his world.
No, just it's Xavier C. Barlow, and he is a closeted Black movie star from Indiana who comes out to Hollywood and works his way up the ladder, picture by picture, and he becomes a rival to Sidney Poitier. So this is like the 1950s going into the 1960s.
Wow. And talk to us about, you know, Xavier Barlow, not to be mistaken for Javier. We just did a whole hour on immigration. so I'm trying not to laugh at myself, but it is kind of funny. But Xavier C. Barlow, for folks who are a little less familiar, he was this rising Black Hollywood star in the late 50s. And it's so interesting because, you know, when we think about the Sidney Poitiers, when we think about the Harry Belafontes, I think some might assume that, you know, they may not have had a queer contemporary at the time, but this book sort of challenges that idea, no?
Well, I mean, what I like doing with historical fiction is taking queer Black stories and putting them into history. You know, queer Black people are generally left out because we don't have letters and diaries. We don't have the documentation that, you know, historians require, which is sort of laughable because we don't have those things because we were being oppressed. You know, you wouldn't necessarily write love letters when being homosexual was criminalized. So with historical fiction, I'm allowed to make up a character like Xavier and insert him into real history with real characters and just sort of illuminate what that life would have been like at that level.
Now, what does it mean to weave these real legends into the story? In a way that that helps to move the story along, but also in ways that might even challenge sort of their standing in history.
Well, I do an extensive amount of research, so I try to make sure that the people I'm putting into these situations would be available to be in them. And I also try to play true to their known nature. So I don't try to have anybody do anything completely out of character from what we know them to be. In this book, my main character, Xavier, he's best friends with Diane Carroll. He's friends with her while she's having her affair with Nii-Quartelai. I didn't make that up. That is on the record. They had an affair for 9 years. And so, in this book, there's probably, Saints, Nii-Quartelai, his halo's a bit crooked in this book. And that is maybe different from how he's generally portrayed, but it is true to the facts as we know them.
Wow, 9 years. No, nine years. This character, Xavier, talk to us about how he sort of navigates not being out, but seemingly being out with select friends.
Well, he's doing something that was rather common in the 1950s and 60s. He was in what we'll call a glass closet. Everybody can kind of see him in there, but he's not stepping out. There are a lot we know, like James Dean, Montgomery Clift, Tony Perkins were all stars who people knew were not heterosexual. And so I wanted to examine that life. I also tend to write, like in my first novel, My Government Means to Kill Me, I write books about political awakenings. And so as a young person fresh to Hollywood, Xavier is fine with the deal of keeping his sexuality under wraps. But as he grows in stature, he begins to wonder if he's supposed to use his celebrity and his voice to make a difference and whether or not he should come out. And that is one of the big storylines in the book.
What message do you hope to send to present day folks in Hollywood who actually might be struggling with some of the same things that this character Xavier was struggling with? I mean, we shouldn't assume just because it's 2026.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not.
That it's any easier than it was during the time in this book.
I think Xavier, I think a lot of stars of color sometimes feel it is unfair. And I get that because their white counterparts may not have to speak out on as many issues as they do. So if you want to sit there, you can sit with it's unfair. But I think the reality is you have to. It is a burden you cannot just sort of shrug off. Or if you do, there will be consequences for that as well. I think ultimately, if you have a voice, you're supposed to use your voice.
Yeah, but oftentimes there's a cost, and not just in terms of one's social status, but it's going to cost you some capital, and it in some cases it may cost you your job. You may be out of work for a long period of time. At a time right now when there are so many people in Hollywood that are out of work, do you worry that the current media environment is making it harder for folks to make those sort of judgment calls and for folks to exercise their voice fully?
I think in the long run, your silence is not going to serve you. It may get you the next job, but it's also going to eat away at you. It's also going to erode your credibility with the audience you're supposed to attract. What is the point of being someone they'll hire if you're not someone the audience will come and watch? And I think if you become disconnected from the political struggles of the time, people notice. I mean, we just live in a world now where audiences are checking and they see you standing there in the spotlight and they want to hear from you. And if you're not willing to be honest, if you're not willing to be vocal, it turns out there's more than one way to kill a career.
And there's more than one way for the government to kill us. You wrote in your first book, "My Government Means to Kill Me." It was set during the AIDS crisis in 1980s New York. And now this 1950s Hollywood. You seem to keep going into your archival bag. Talk to us about why the past feels so urgent to you as a writer right now.
I love writing historical fiction. One, because there are these gaps in the narrative that when you're looking for stories about Black queer people, you can go to the bookshelves, go to your libraries. You don't find many of them. In writing this book about 1950s Hollywood, it was really hard to find a dozen other books that you could call comps, because we just don't find our stories told in these ways. There tends to be a lot more focus on contemporary stories. I get that. People want to kind of read about the here and now, but I think it's my job to sort of give you history and make it and give it the urgency of now. I also am just a hyper fixating research nerd who likes digging into the archives and coming out with these stories. My next book is going to be in San Francisco in the 1970s.
Oh, wow. Look at you over here, putting some chum in the water. Giving us a little bit of news of the coming attraction. We love it. We love it. We love it. Do you worry that, for as much good as you are hoping to pump out into the world through this story, do you worry that this book might be banned in this current environment?
I don't worry about book bans because my books are for adults. The cowards that kind of lead those book banning campaigns tend to go after books for young adults and children because that's easier to sort of target. And you can sort of get parents more, or a certain segment of parents riled up about it. I've written an adult book for adults, so people can read it or not read it. So I don't worry too much about being banned.
Because I'm thinking about, books like, The Bluest Eye and, Beloved. And there are some Baldwin books that have been banned. Those certainly aren't books for kids. Oh, yeah. But certainly there are the folks who are banning books aren't reading them.
They're not reading them, and they're
not acting indiscriminately.
No, and they're working from a blueprint that's been handed to them. It's harder. I mean, it can be done, but it's harder to go after adult books. I mean, and they're not terribly. They're rather lazy, and they're lazy thinkers, and so it's just sort of easier to look at a book that has some connection that they think, oh my goodness, we must save the children. And that's primarily where they've been focused.
When we come forward, more with author Rasheed Newson. He is the man behind There's Only One Sin in Hollywood. This book just dropped the beginning of June, and it's creating a whole lot of buzz. And we got Rasheed with us for a little while longer. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
The audience is listening. Thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. California Governor Gavin Newsom says President Trump has ordered a weaponized Justice Department investigation into him and his wife, Jennifer Newsom.
Donald Trump picked the wrong target. We have nothing to hide.
In a video released Monday morning, Newsom accused federal officials of targeting family, friends, and former employees while, quote, looking for a crime, end quote. Washington, D.C.'s Office of Campaign Finance has fined Black mayoral candidate Janice Lewis George's campaign $16,000 for alleged improper coordination with labor unions, a super PAC, and other violations. Lewis George says that fine is politically motivated and plans to appeal. And Black Virginia State Senator Louise Lucas is launching a statewide listening tour on data centers starting in Hampton. Lucas says she wants to hear residents' concerns as Governor Spanberger continues budget talks with lawmakers. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Red card penalty. Score big flavor with Baba Grill's new Red Card combo for a limited time. A mini sweet and spicy chicken bowl, chili crisp dumplings, and a refreshing penalty punch for a beverage with mango popping boba. An all-star lineup for just $9.99. Only at Baba Grill.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Very interesting day for the World Cup here in Los Angeles. Tonight at 6 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, Iran makes its World Cup debut. Iran takes on New Zealand in a first-round matchup. With Iran involved in a military conflict with the U.S., a lot of eyes will be on this match to see how the Iranian team will be received at SoFi. Last week, U.S. customs officials banned 14 members of Iran's traveling party from entering the U.S. The Iran-New Zealand match will have live coverage on Fox Sports 1 or Telemundo. The Dodgers are back in town tonight to start a 3-game homestand against Tampa Bay. The Dodgers lost 2 of 3 in Chicago to the White Sox. The 3-game series on the South Side averaged 38,000 fans. The White Sox are in first place in the American League Central. The Dodgers are 18 games over 500 and have a 7-game lead over San Diego in the NL West. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
As we go a little something like this.
Talkers Magazine has spoken. Out of every talk radio host in America, Tavis Smiley ranks number 14 on the Heavy 100 list. One of the top 15 most important voices in the nation, right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Unapologetically progressive, unapologetically powerful. Tune in weekdays on the 9s, 9 a.m. to noon or 9 p.m. to midnight. This is your station. This is your voice.
Let's get it on.
Word! Progressive isn't a party, it's a people. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. We continue our look at what is happening and what is not happening along the Destination Crenshaw corridor. Last time we talked about the promises made to this community. Today we talk about the reality on the ground, and it is not pretty. Let's start with something as basic as a visit to the vet. Customers of the local veterinary clinic right next door to this studio are forced to park blocks away and carry their sick and injured animals through conditions that no pet owner or sick animal should have to endure. Why? Because the construction has blocked access to the vet's parking lot for years now. The vet is losing clients, the vet is losing revenue, and frankly, who can blame these customers for not coming back? This is but one example of a small Black-owned business being quietly strangled, and nobody at City Hall seems to notice or care. And the conditions along this corridor, they are not just an eyesore, they are a health hazard. Unsanitary conditions and repeated health code violations are doing exactly what you would expect, inviting vermin into our neighborhood, rodents, pests, the kind of infestation that does not stay in one place. It spreads into homes, into restaurants, into our daily lives for years now. Then there is this. The houseless are finding refuge in the construction cubbyholes and unfinished spaces left wide open along this project. These are precious human beings, to be sure, in desperate situations. But this is also a safety and liability crisis that the city created and has yet to address for years now. In our prior editorial, trying to save some space for Grace, we did not call his name. But after a full week of running the editorial hourly, highlighting the myriad delays, business losses, health violations, safety concerns, and more, we have heard absolutely nothing from City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson. Nothing. Not a word. The council member who represents this district has gone silent. You see why we call this project Procrastination Crenshaw? And so I repeat, Crenshaw deserves better. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
National No news, the consequence. Informed opinion. And analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and we're still here cruising an afternoon drive time with Rasheed Newson. He's the author of There's Only One Sin in Hollywood, which is available everywhere books are sold right now. Go get it. Go get it. And while you're at it, come visit us. Because there's going to be a whole part 2 to this conversation in person, live in Washington, D.C. at the MLK Library. Pull up on June 23rd at 7 p.m. We're going to be in conversation in this book. And if you're part of the audience, you'll have an opportunity to be a part of that Q&A. And so, look, I can't make it any more plain. You all are welcome to pull up to the conversation I've been anticipating with Rasheed. Not just here on the air, but in person. And so, Rasheed, I want to talk about Bel-Air because you co-created one of the most unexpected success stories in recent television, taking the Fresh Prince, the icon of Black popular culture, certainly one of them, and reimagining it as a serious drama series. What was that creative leap like?
Well, my writing partner, TJ Brady, and I stepped into that project when it was already in motion. So Morgan Cooper, the director, had done a short film where he had sort of introduced that concept of doing it like a drama. And then they were struggling to figure out how to turn that script and turn that into a show. So that's one of those, can you come down here and help write the ship? We went down there. I just remember the tremendous pressure. The room was 9 weeks behind. I don't know if people remember this. Bel-Air aired the same day as the Super Bowl because it's on Peacock, and NBC Universal had the Super Bowl that year. And that turned out to be a launch date you cannot move. So we were under the gun. COVID broke out while we were doing that. So we were, people were getting tested every day. I think of it as a Hall of Fame season because I was just trying to figure out, is there going to be a show? And then on top of that, we're like, okay, how do we do this in a way that people feel good about it? Initial reaction from the core audience, because they showed me the testing, was don't do this. Don't mess with my show. Don't ruin my childhood. So there were very strong headwinds all around. And my real goal was, can we just make something we're proud of?
And how proud, on a scale from 1 to 10, how proud were you of Bel-Air?
Oh, I'm a 10. I'm very proud. I am very proud that under all that pressure, I think collectively didn't let it get to us. We sort of stayed focused on the creative fundamentals that were guiding us. And we also just got tremendously lucky. We got tremendously lucky with that cast. We were fortunate that when it did come out, the audience found it. I mean, I've very rarely seen this. Normally people say they don't like something, they stick with that opinion. Week after week, people sort of started coming forward on social media and saying, I didn't think this was going to be good, but I like this show. And that word of mouth saved us.
That's how we work around here. This word of mouth it's powerful. It's powerful around here. Did Will Smith or Quincy Jones, who, were part of the magic of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that's a part of so many of our childhood, did they reach out to you at all on the front end after they'd seen anything?
That is so sweet. What happens sort of in Hollywood, and I can tell you with the Fresh Prince, is everybody who was an executive producer on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they were grandfathered in as producers and executive producers on Bel-Air because we were using characters based on their previous work. I never met Quincy Jones. He never called. It is sort of funny, but I have a long list of Hollywood stars I have executive produced and produced with who I've never met. That just doesn't typically happen. They get their checks, they cash their checks, they don't send emails.
Oh my goodness. So you never had a conversation with Will Smith about Bel-Air?
No. I saw him at the premiere party. We said hello. He sent notes through his people once. I think he sent 1 or 2 notes.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and by notes, I meant like things he wanted changed in the episode, not notes like you're doing a great job. Keep it up, buddy. I didn't get that.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
It's
I mean,
okay.
look,
I don't want to burst your bubble, but that's just typically how it goes. I mean, when you work at a large company, you don't really spend a lot of time with like the CEO or the board of directors. Those are just people on the wall. Day to day, you're just trying to keep your crew together and take care of your area. And so, yeah, my job was that casting crew, all the other executive producers. I think there were like 20 something. We looked at the beginning and doing that thing on television shows where you show all the executive producers' names at the bottom of the screen, but it was going to take like 2.5 minutes.
Whoa.
So we were like, we're not going to do that.
I mean, it's a reminder. Look, this is show business, and as much as we tend to focus on the show part, there's a business part of it, and that's how it goes. You're also living in Paris. You were living in Paris as a library fellow, or you. I don't think you're living there now, but recently.
I'm not living. I was in Paris for the month of March. I had a month in Paris.
Okay.
Where they set you up with an apartment and a stipend, and they give you an office in the library at the American Library in Paris, and it's all the research. I just love. For me, it was incredible. So I brought my family over for spring break. My husband and our 2 kids came over to have some time in Paris. It was delightful.
So Rasheed, I got to ask you this: what does America look like from the vantage point of Paris? What does it look like from outside right now? What did people ask you about the most while you were in Paris?
Well, what was lovely is people just knowing I'm Black and I'm gay, so nobody assumed that everybody knew I wasn't down with this, so nobody came at me with anger. It was, how could this have happened? They had a pretty high opinion of us, and they have been disabused of that notion. There is a feeling that even after Trump, we're not exactly a partner you can depend on, because when you look at our electoral history over the last 20 years, you're seeing these swings. Oh, they've got a Democrat. Oh, they've got a Republican. This policy's in, this policy's out. It doesn't make for a good trade partner. It doesn't make for a good ally. And so it was watching the world talk about how they're going to get what they need done without us.
Sobering, I hope. In our remaining minute with you, Rashida, I want to ask you one more question. What do you want Black readers, and specifically Black LGBTQ readers, what do you want us to feel when we finish There's Only One Sin in Hollywood?
Ooh, I want you to feel that even in your own life, you're asking yourself, how am I showing up? Full and in Technicolor. How am I making my voice heard?
That's it.
I think that was pretty good. That's all.
No, I mean, it's good. No, it's good. It's good. I mean, I wasn't sure if there was more to that.
Oh no. Here's the thing. I think the temptation of the moment is to just keep your head down and your mouth shut, and maybe you can endure this, but you will be someone else at the end of this if you make that your practice. I know it is hard to stand up and use your voice. I know there are consequences. I will remind you that some people have no choice. Some people can't hide. Some people can't pass. Some people have to go out there every day and take the hit. You are strong enough to take the hit. Please don't be silent.
Rasheed, was there a time when you couldn't pass?
I couldn't pass through the airport today. Are you kidding? Yeah, I mean, there are times when I think I present, I present as femme, and people sort of, that seems to attract a lot of attention, with my skirt or my fingernails. Yeah. I don't think I was fooling anybody in grade school. I'm always sort of in love with coming out stories, because it assumes that, no one had a clue. I don't feel that was my experience. I think a lot of people had clues before I had clues.
Oh, they had a few ideas. It was on their bingo card.
Yeah. It was, that no one grabbed their chest in shock when I told them. And I think that's okay. I think that's like that's the way it was for me. But I think there's a strength in that, because when you learn you can't hide, you better come up with some defenses.
That's right. And and it builds character. It builds character. I mean, it's a little bit different but similar. Having an uncommon name, Nii-Quartelai Quartey, that's a lot of name.
Mm-hmm.
It's a heavy name, right? And it forces you to build a level of confidence, a level of resilience, starting from a very young age. Can you imagine being in the second grade and your name is Nii-Quartelai Quartey?
That is the thing. I mean, like I've known anywhere I've gone, I'm not going to be a wallflower. I'm just not going to be. And I've been in situations, particularly in rooms, where people have a need to hear my opinion. They'll start by going, well, I'm not sure if Rasheed is going to like this. And I'm like, well, I guess I need to respond now. I gotta step up and say something. And I sometimes just think it's just little old me over here. Why do you care what I think or what I'm doing? But that has not been the experience of my life. I am often drawn into it. I am called out. I have not really been many places where I could just blend in.
Well, look, folks can, speaking of many places, people can join us for part 2 of this conversation live in Washington, D.C. at the Martin Luther King Library. Be there or be square, Tuesday, June 23rd at 7 p.m. There'll be a rich Q&A portion of that conversation. I can't wait for round 2 with Rasheed Newson. In the meantime, know that there's only one Sin in Hollywood. It's available everywhere books are sold. You heard it here first. This is the summer read that people are going to be talking about. Thank you, Rasheed. Thank you for joining us here on A More Perfect Union.
Thank you for having me.
I'll see you in DC next week.
Yes.
You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
If you're an African-American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
Did you know that $60 billion are lost every year to Medicare fraud?
If someone has been a victim of healthcare fraud, the more we talk about that this occurs, older adults will feel more comfortable about sharing their experience.
It's not about someone not being smart enough or not paying enough attention. Falling victim to fraud can happen to anyone.
If I've been scammed, if I've experienced it and I'm angry about it and I want to do something about it, then I have an opportunity to volunteer and share with other people, here's what happened to me, but it doesn't have to happen to you.
Medicare fraud hurts people, it hurts Medicare, and we need your help to make a difference.
It's powerful to be able to address an issue like Medicare fraud, and being a volunteer for SMP gives you that power to do it.
If you have passion and dedication and want to be of service, we'd love to have you join our team.
For more information or to volunteer, visit californiasmp.org.
Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. Before we wrap up today's show, y'all know I always like to close the show reminding us to do what we can from where we are with what we have. And I like to remind you of that because, by the way, the show isn't just about analysis, and we're not just about peddling in outrage, but we like to focus on what do we do? What do we do? Because here's the thing about this moment that we're living through. The people who want you to feel powerless are counting on your paralysis. And the antidote to fear is action, and action doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be real. Last night, Sunday night, while the president was hosting a UFC event on the South Lawn of the White House for his 80th birthday, you know, the UFC event where that UFC fighter disrespected our forever First Lady, Michelle Obama. I thought a lot about whether or not I wanted to talk about that on today's show. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to dignify the outrageous comment that he made about former First Lady Michelle Obama. We'll see how I feel as the week goes on, but not today. But back to what I was saying. Last night, Sunday night, while all that was happening on the South Lawn of the White House, Jane Fonda organized a concert at Town Hall in New York City called Rise Up, Sing Out, a concert for the First Amendment. Robert De Niro was there. Bette Midler was there. Julia Roberts, Tessa Thompson, Ayo Edebiri, Patti Smith, Joy Reid was there. And more than 5,000 viewing parties were registered across the country in red states, in blue states, in purple states. And De Niro said something that stuck with me. He said, quote, "I want to love my country again. I want my country back. That's why I stand with the Committee for the First Amendment." Now, I know that some of y'all may call the station and hop in a More Perfect group chat and say, "Doc, why are you talking about a bunch of celebrities?" And I hear you, because celebrities, you know, are not a substitute for organizing. But here's what I'll say. The First Amendment is real. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly. Those aren't just words on paper. They are under pressure right now. And seeing people use their platforms to say, "Not on my watch," that matters. Not as a savior moment, but as a cultural signal. Remember, the boogeyman only has power in the dark. Turn on the lights, show up, say something. And closer to home, something I genuinely want you to write down: the 2028 LA Olympics are coming. And according to the LA Times, volunteer applications open in July. So I really want us in those volunteer roles. I want Black and Brown Los Angeles represented in the face of these games, because these Olympics, they're going to be one of the most watched events in human history, beamed to billions of people around the world. And we are Los Angeles. So go to the official LA 28 website, mark your calendar for July, and get your application in. This is your city. These are your games. Be in the room, be on the ground, be part of the story. That is our show for today, Monday, June 15th. We covered a U.S.-Iran deal that could reshape the Middle East. We talked to immigration attorney Alan Orr Jr. about dreamers losing their jobs, a government that was literally considering suspending constitutional rights, and a 31-year-old Haitian woman named Daffy Michel. who deserves to be remembered by name. Again, we say her name, Daffy Michelle, 31-year-old Haitian woman released by ICE in Pittsburgh that died of hypothermia. We welcomed the brilliant Rasheed Newson, and there's only one sin in Hollywood. So now all you got to do is go get the book. We also talked about Governor Gavin Newsom turning on the lights. And mark my words, that was an important moment. I have a feeling we're going to be coming back to those remarks that Governor Newsom delivered today. For folks who are just joining us on the tail end of today's show, you should know that the Department of Justice has filed an investigation, and they're looking into Governor Newsom's wife, Jennifer Cybele Newsom. The governor didn't mince words. He saw what so many of us see, an attempt to get to Newsom through his wife, and he is not having it, and said as much in today's remarks. We also talked about Britain protecting its children, about Fox buying Roku and what it means for the media that we consume. And we close with a reminder that civic life, showing up, speaking out, volunteering for something bigger than yourself, it's not optional. It's the whole point. To my father, Joseph K. Quartey, thank you for teaching me that. And to this audience, you are the reason this show exists. You carry it. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We'll have to leave it there. My thanks to the entire team, the entire village that helps us pull the show together each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our show producers, Art Sears, Faraji Muhammad, our sound engineer extraordinaire, Brother Andy, and to each and every one of you. Again, do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. The world certainly needs it. The nation needs it. Cali needs it. And LA certainly needs it. We'll see you tomorrow.